it's a hard job. And if he's working for minimum wage at $15 an hour, yeah, I'll give a little bit of grace. But he's working for the NFL minimum, which is what, $1 million a year?
Sorry, Bob.
Sorry, Bob. It was, unfortunate.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Hey, welcome back to the Unrestricted, folks. Bob and Wally and Vex. What's going on, guys? Happy Super Bowl Monday hangover day.
I'm not hungover.
I'm not either, but I should be because I drank enough.
I can't get hungover anymore.
What's wrong with that? What do you mean?
I just can't.
You're impervious to hangovers?
Yes, I can't drink. I can't drink like that anymore. After my heart attack in March, I either have 2 beers, and I never exceed 3.
Well, then don't go to the Waste Management Phoenix Open. That's all I can tell you.
You know what? I'll throw this in real quick now that I mentioned it. Sam Adams makes a Lazy Haze, I think it's called Lazy Haze, non-alcoholic beer. It's an IPA. It's freaking delicious.
There are a lot of good non-alcoholic beers out there.
Oh my God! Yeah. And that you could just put one of those in between the first 2 beers, and you are good to go.
So the one question I had on the Waste Management was they had their frost delay. Were they serving patrons waiting to come into the grounds?
I believe they were. I'd have to check in on that.
I want to go to that joint. I promised myself I was going to go this year, so next year I gotta go.
Okay, it's biggest party in golf, and apparently it got too big. They had to cut people off. They ran out of alcohol.
Did they?
Yes, it was not a good situation.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Interesting.
25-22, Chiefs win in overtime.
Fuck!
Sorry, Bob. I know you're a Niners fan. How do you feel today?
Wonderful.
Or is fuck just enough to explain it?
It was that was a good game.
Okay, you go with that.
Second half was good.
You go with that, because I didn't think it was a great game at all.
Second half was thrilling.
I thought it was a good game of football. Was it a good game of offense? No. Was it a good game of football? I thought it was a good game of football. I thought, for me personally, I wish Shanahan would have called more runs at the beginning of the third quarter. I thought he came out flat into the third quarter. I thought we had an advantage. We dominated the first half.
Mm-hmm.
If any other quarterback is at the helm and under center for Kansas City loses that game.
But that's not the case.
It was
nope.
You have Tom Brady 2.0. That's what you have.
It was all Patrick Mahomes, and my God, after all of our history in muffing fucking punt returns, you think we can't figure that shit out?
To me, the game was won and lost on 2 deciding factors. One is one team had Patrick Mahomes and the other one did not, and the second one is special teams. You missed a PAT. You had a turnover on a punt return.
Yeah.
Those were game-changing special teams plays that frankly influenced the outcome more than anything else.
Hey, if they kick the extra point there, that changes a lot of things in there, and who knows what happens.
I hear that narrative, and I don't agree with it. Because if they make it 4, it changes Kansas City's play calling going forward.
Certainly. Of course it does.
And who knows how it changes differently. My biggest problem was, don't touch the ball on a punt return.
I know.
This has happened to us before, and you let it happen to us again. That turned the game because it gave the Chiefs an easy touchdown.
It did, but God, you got to feel for the guy. I mean, it hits the back of his ankle. He's one of the guys.
I don't feel for the guy.
He's one of the guys guarding the gunner downfield. I mean, how are you going to keep your eye on blocking for the return and the ball in the air? I mean, it's a hard job, and you see it during the NFL season. It's just kind of an unlucky set of circumstances.
Can't allow it to happen.
Yeah, and it's a hard job, and if he's working for minimum wage at $15 an hour, yeah, I'll give a little bit of grace. But he's working for the NFL minimum, which is what, $1 million a year?
Sorry, Bob.
It was unfortunate.
And I also don't agree with the narrative on Shanahan making the wrong call in overtime. When that flip went and San Francisco won the coin toss, I was there going, get the ball first.
Agreed.
Get the ball first.
Agreed.
Get the ball
because
first.
We had talked about this leading up to the game, that we thought that it was important for San Francisco to set the tone. And you even said if they win the opening kickoff at the beginning of the game, they ought to take the ball. And they did.
And they would have scored, except McCaffrey, who has the surest hands in football, fumbles the ball. But
And
then
I feel-
Pacheco's fumbles too.
I feel like you take that same strategy into overtime.
all they
Score
need,
first.
all they needed to do was score.
I disagree
and
with you.
Score a touchdown.
I'll disagree with Jeff's last point there, because and I don't listen. I don't. To me, it didn't determine who wins and who loses the game, but I see the other side of it, where if you decide to defer, then you know what you have to do, because you can't lose the game on a touchdown. You can't lose on any score by the opposing team. So you let them do what they're going to do, and then you know exactly how to strategically plan your series.
I get that, and I understand that comes from, if you watch a lot of college football, you understand that a little bit. Mm-hmm. But if you listen to Shanahan in his post-game presser, what his thoughts were we're both going to score. We're both going to score.
Yeah, he wanted to be the third team.
And I want to be the third possession. And it makes a little bit of sense, which then leads me to believe when they were 3rd and 4 on the 9, why are you calling a pass?
Yeah.
Run a run play, get 2 or 3 yards, even if you don't get the first, and then go on 4th. Make it take the initiative out of that decision, where the decision is the other team knows that they have 4 downs. Take 4 downs your damn self.
Kyle Shanahan showed some balls at some points during the game, but not all of them. Mm-hmm. I thought he got uber conservative at really important times, and that's not his modus operandi. But unfortunately, it has haunted him in Super Bowls. When he was the offensive coordinator of Atlanta, he didn't sit on the ball when he should have, and he allowed a 28-3 comeback for the Patriots.
Yeah.
He was up 10 points with the 49ers a couple of years ago, and he allowed Mahomes back in. Now Mahomes, this is crazy.
But he also went for it on 4th. What was it? 4th and 1, 4th and 2, whatever it was.
He had some moments
late in the game when he could have kicked the field goal. That was the biggest gamble I've ever seen in Super Bowl history, and oddly enough, it came in Las Vegas.
Yes, it did. But Walter, in the 3rd quarter, the San Francisco 49ers are dominating the game coming out of halftime. They get the interception from Mahomes. They go 3 consecutive 3-and-outs.
Yep.
And each of those plays was a pass.
8 of 9. 8 of 9 were passes. Okay. Why are you putting the ball in the hands of Brock Purdy instead of Christian McCaffrey, who frankly had gouged the Chiefs defense to that point?
Yeah. And it wasn't so much the fact that it was in the hands of Brock Purdy, who actually showed himself to be a really, really good quarterback.
He was up to the task.
It was the passing calls they made. I mean, play more of a West Coast offense, a ball control pass. Get your 4 or 5 yards on first down so you're not playing behind the sticks. That was my big word going into the game, is that were we going to play the game behind the sticks? And in the entire first half, we didn't play the game behind the sticks, except when we made stupid-ass mental errors. How the do you get called for a false start, Trent Williams? You're a Hall of Famer offensive lineman.
And there was one on Ayuk, which is just indefensible for a wide receiver to get a false start.
And the Romo pointed it out that Snead incited that.
He did.
And the one thing that I want, and I didn't want them to run the ball so much in the 3rd quarter for controlling the ball and controlling the tempo, is I wanted to see the Chiefs continue to be frustrated. We saw that a little bit at the end of the first half where the Chiefs were frustrated. That personal foul on Snead was a frustration penalty.
Sure. Kelsey on the sideline getting after Andy Reid. That was frustration.
Getting after him, he almost knocked him over. Could you imagine listen, it could have certainly went a different way, and if Kelsey knocks him over, I mean, you're knocking over an old man.
Yes.
I mean, a really old man.
It's really fat old man.
It's like Pedro Martinez throwing down Don Zimmer.
Yes.
That's what it could. That's what it certainly could have turned into. He's lucky it didn't go that way. But listen, with all this, you guys are all talking about all the, run plays and all that stuff. Listen, the major factor here is Patrick Mahomes, who is now, as good, if not better than Tom Brady. And when back in the day when Brady had when you gave Brady 2 minutes in the 4th quarter, the ball, you knew you were fucked. And you know what? The same is now with Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes.
And-
you give him a minute and
Yeah.
a half, he's going to
Yeah.
beat you. So you could have ran the football, done anything offensively, San Francisco. I
yeah.
still believe that Patrick Mahomes would have beat them.
I get that, and I am. If we had to lose to a team, I'm okay with losing to the Chiefs. Because I don't look at the Chiefs as an evil empire. I don't hate Patrick Mahomes. I think Patrick Mahomes is a good guy. I think Andy Reid is a fabulous individual.
Yeah.
I'd love to have a cheeseburger with Andy Reid. If this had been to the Ravens, if this had been to the Patriots of old, I would have been even more pissed because those guys are evil empire teams.
I want to say two things, and I don't like these narratives, and I knew I was going to hear them after the game, and I watched all the post-game press coverage, and then again this morning I was watching and listening to everything I could, and we're recording this on Monday morning. Mahomes was good. He was not great.
He was great. What are you,
He was
crazy?
good
He
enough.
was not.
He was 8 for 8 in overtime.
He was not great. They allowed Patrick Mahomes to do the same thing that other teams allowed Tom Brady to do in these 2-minute drills, which is to throw the ball underneath. How many times did Patrick Mahomes throw the ball downfield in this game? Total.
And in 75 minutes of football, they only had 2 good offensive drives. Unfortunately, they came with 2 minutes to go and in the second possession of overtime.
Patrick Mahomes had no air yards on these completions.
Okay.
He was 8 for 8 because he was dinking and dunking. The longest pass of that drive was the crossing pass to Travis Kelce, and that was only like 12 air yards. He never threw the ball downfield. This is the mistake that defensive coordinators make time and time again. They did it against Brady. They're doing it against Mahomes. Make him beat you over the fucking top. They don't have Tyreek Hill anymore.
He will beat you over the top.
No, he had one play. He had one explosive play downfield for a large yardage, and that was busted footwork by the safety.
Oh, that's
that
right.
Should have been an interception
In the first half, yeah.
And as the ball went up, I see 2 defenders. I'm like,
Excuse me.
that ball's being picked.
Yeah.
And then he screws up with his feet, and it's called. I'm like, ah!
That's right. And that was the longest air yards attempt of the entire game for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
How do you allow a guy as clutch as Patrick Mahomes to be able to complete passes to open wide receivers underneath? And that's a terrible mistake.
And it wasn't, for me, it wasn't so much the dinky passes, Mahomes, it was the 2 runs.
Killed you.
Those were the stake to the heart.
He had 2 rushes for 27 yards on that final drive.
And both were first downs.
And they were killers.
Yeah.
4th and 1.
And okay, I am okay with Taylor Swift being shown after Kelce makes a reception. I'm okay. She's his whatever friend. Who the fuck
His
cares?
boo. She's his boo.
I don't want to see Taylor Swift every fucking time the Kansas City Chiefs do something.
Wow, you sound like a right-wing conservative, man.
There you go.
Way to go.
Listen, I loved the shots of her last night, during the game, after the game. The 2 of them embracing and basically making out on the field after the game. They clearly love each other. It's fantastic. I'm in love with the both of them. They're cute as can be, the 2 of them. What a great pair. And
That's weird. That's creepy.
It would have been completely different though. Think about what would Taylor Swift's reaction be to him if he goes and knocks over Andy Reid. And then, of course, he goes crazy on the microphone on the stage last night. Listen, I love all that stuff. Real quick, though, the overtime rules in the Super Bowl are fantastic beyond my imagination. What they did last night for overtime just completely puts overtime to bed. We no longer need to worry about that being that was never going to be a problem in this game. So was the officiating. The officiating was never an issue. I loved all of that. I thought Chris Berman was absolutely terrific on ESPN NFL Countdown after the game was over.
He was.
Got Pacheco in there. Mahomes was in there. Kelce was in there. I thought it was all fantastic.
Andy Reid and his wife. Yeah,
Andy
he was
Reid
really good.
And they brought, and speaking of cheeseburgers, they brought Andy Reid a box of burgers. It was hilarious.
There's 2 narratives that are coming out of this game that I just can't quite get with. One is that Patrick Mahomes was sort of Michael Jordan. He wasn't. That wasn't the Mahomes scrambling and throwing 65 yards downfield to an open guy game. That's not what happened.
but it's almost worse. It's almost a worse narrative because he wasn't that, and he still stuck a dagger in an amazing
He threw to guys who were
49ers
wide
team.
open. I could have completed these passes. I never saw Patrick Mahomes' outstanding athleticism or amazing arm or incredible accuracy on display. These guys were wide open at 5 to 8 yards downfield, and he was able to hit them. I'm not blown away by that.
And he wasn't able to use his feet because the 49ers defense did a really, really good job containing him in the box.
They did.
Then
Absolutely.
Here's my question to you, Jeff. Then why doesn't everybody do this?
Because everybody can't.
I honestly think that defensive coordinators get so frozen up. They did it against Brady, and they're doing it again against Mahomes, where they freeze up and they play that kind of prevent defense.
Dak can't do that. 8 for 8, 42 yards, 2 first downs on his feet. Mahomes was just pure magic in obviously in overtime. Yeah, you can't take it away from him because he's the only guy
that way.
I know you don't see it that way, but that's just the way. If he can do it and it's so easy, then why doesn't everybody else do it?
I don't know. I don't know. It drives me nuts.
Why is it down?
Look, to his credit, he was 16 of 22 for 154 in the fourth quarter and overtime with 4 rushes of 33 yards. He now becomes the best rushing quarterback in Super Bowl history. It's good. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
There is not another quarterback I can quantum leap into his body that would have done what he did last night. Not a single one.
I don't know, man.
Then give me one.
I don't
Then
know.
give me one.
Josh Allen would have done that.
Josh
No, he
Allen could
wouldn't
have done that.
No,
Yes.
no. He would have bit himself in the ass. Give me another one.
I think Joe Burrow could have done
Zach Wilson.
that. And here's the second narrative of the game.
Brett Favre, Jets fan.
The second narrative of the game that I just don't know if I can get with.
Don't make me cry.
Don't tell me that was a great game. It wasn't a great game.
Second half was very good.
The fourth quarter was really good.
Were you not entertained?
The third quarter wasn't great.
All right.
The third quarter wasn't great. The first 3 quarters of the game were kind of unimpressive.
I didn't charge you for the watch the game. I can't give you any money back. What the hell you want?
I'm just saying these are the 2 best teams in the NFL.
Okay.
They each had a really bungling turnover in the first half.
Yeah.
The McCaffrey
sloppy.
and
It was a sloppy game in the first half.
was not impressive.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
The third quarter had, I wrote it down, I think it was 6 consecutive 3-and-outs.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody said it was a great. Listen, it was a great finish. I don't know if it was a great game, but that's fine. Were you entertained? I was. I loved it. I did not watch the halftime. I chose instead to watch
Good choice,
the
Dalter.
recorded part. I recorded the last 5 holes of the Waste Management Phoenix Open,
That was a good time to watch it.
which I have not finished watching yet.
Oh,
so.
fabulous finish there.
But I'm not a fan of Usher, so I had no interest in watching it.
Well, even if you were a fan of Usher, it wasn't very good. It was not very good. I'm sorry, I was bored to tears.
It lasted forever.
It really did.
Yeah, like every halftime
And
show.
I like seeing Ludacris up there. That made me happy. HER was up there. That was okay. But it was overall really lackluster. And I don't think anything's ever going to live up for me in the modern age for me to Dre and Snoop from a couple of years ago.
Well,
That was the pinnacle of it for me.
sorry, I'll take the 60-year-old man music groups. Thank you.
Oh, right. The guy coming from the guy who's pissed off that Kenny Loggins didn't get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
All right, here you go. Here's your nominees, by the way. Mary J. Blige, Mariah Carey. Let me know when I get to one that's better than Kenny Loggins. Cher,
you already
Dave
did.
Matthews Band, Eric B. and Rakim. Who the fuck is that?
Eric B. and
Foreigner.
Rakim should have been in 20 years
Peter
ago.
Frampton, Jane's Addiction. You got to be kidding me.
Whoa. Peter Frampton.
Why is Peter Frampton in there?
I don't know. Lenny Kravitz, Oasis, Sinead O'Connor, better than Kenny Loggins. Ridiculous. And these are just nominees, mind you.
You just don't like
Sade, That ain't Kenny
Sade
Loggins?
was amazing.
Oh God, Sade, God! That's another artist. When I hear it on the smooth jazz stations, I turn it off. A Tribe Called Quest. I've never even heard of these people.
Those are two of my favorite bands that
Of
you
course.
just mentioned that you don't even know. Eric
Of
B. and
course.
Rakim and Tribe Called Quest. Those are my heroes.
Yeah, and they should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Well, they're hip hop. I don't know that they should belong in a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to begin with.
It's Music
but that's
Hall
a
of Fame.
separate.
Yeah.
That's a separate
All right.
argument,
Yeah.
right?
So there you go.
But Kenny Loggins, I'm sorry, he's not as good as half of those people.
You're out of
Sorry.
your mind.
Sorry,
Clueless.
He's just not.
All right, let's get to the commercials.
Okay.
Right, we good with the game? We wrap it up with the game? All right.
Yeah, I got a few more things, but we can circle back
All right.
later. Okay, I thought the commercials for the most part were not great. I wrote down a few
There
that
were a few.
I liked the not for Tom Brady Las Vegas commercial. Like, come here to win. Everybody except for Tom Brady. I thought that was really good.
BetMGM is for everyone that loves sports betting. Everyone. But Tom Brady.
Wait, what did I do?
Okay.
The Christopher Walken commercial where everybody was doing their Walken impersonation
That was pretty good.
was pretty good.
Hello, Mr. Walken. Does this table work for you?
The Bud Light Genie commercial was pretty good. The Dynamite Doritos with Dinah and Mite, the two old ladies in the supermarket. That was pretty good. The Jason Momoa T-Mobile ad I thought was pretty good.
No, you can leave your shirts on.
Yes. I thought that was pretty good. And otherwise, I didn't see anything I loved.
Really?
Yeah.
Not the Ben Affleck Dunkin' Donuts one?
It didn't do it for me.
Really, with Tom with Matt Damon?
Yeah.
How do you like them donuts? I'm so sorry.
You had to see it, but I forgive you. Lay us on the track.
Are we going to be on the album?
We talked about this.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give you...
the one that almost brought me to tears, the Kia ad.
Yes, that I thought that was the best commercial of the night.
Maybe I missed this. What was it?
That was one. Yeah, she did.
Figure skater.
Yeah, figure skater. A youth figure skater. She's skating. She's doing her twirl. She looks up and there's an empty seat next to her dad. And she's like, oh. They get in the car and they're driving away and he makes a turn onto a snowy road.
Okay.
And you get a picture of an old man like in a wheelchair in a cabin. And they drive in and he turns the lights on. He powers all the outside lights with the Kia. And
This was a handicap accessible cabin in the woods? I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
sure it was.
So there's a frozen lake, and she goes and performs her routine for her grandfather, who comes out and watches because the Kia can do all the outside lights. It made me cry.
Really?
You
Walter
cried?
liked
I did not see this one.
I didn't
see
cry,
it.
but it was pretty good.
Okay.
All right, I got 3 points on the commercials. First of all, I did not know that Jesus had that kind of money to buy a Super Bowl ad for $7 million.
They've been doing that the last couple years.
Holy crap.
It's been a while.
So if you're ever wondering where all that money goes in the wicker basket, it goes to buying an ad for Jesus during the Super Bowl.
Unless you belong to Olstein's, Joel Olstein's congregation. Did you read about that?
And then you have to spend your money on security because otherwise you're getting shot.
His constituency paid off a $10 million personal loan for Joel Olstein. I
That's
believe it was
interesting.
$10 million. I got to look it up. It was either 10,
Wow.
might have been 100.
Was it?
I got to look this
Did
up.
it cost $10 million to open up the doors during Katrina, or that was something else? All right, never mind.
Keep going, Walter.
All right, so number 2, has Messi ever been in a American ad before, or was that his first time?
I think he has. I think
He
he's
has?
been in
Okay.
one before, yes.
That was kind of a fun ad.
Yeah, it was notable. And then my last point was that Michael Cera in the Cerave body cream commercial made the statement, "Let my cream hydrate you."
Oh,
I thought, holy did he really just, I had to go back and did he really just say that? Let my cream hydrate you. I go, holy shit. And, one more point on the commercials. How about it was a Saturday night alum gathering for the commercials. You saw Tina Fey, you saw Jason Sudeikis, Heidi Gardner, Pete Davidson, and Kate McKinnon were all in ads during the commercials on the Super Bowl. I thought, wow, that's really interesting.
I didn't recognize that. Good job keeping up with that. Yeah, because they were not all in the same commercial.
No,
not at all. And I'm looking this up. Olstein had a $100 million personal debt that is now paid off thanks to his congregants chipping in.
I'm sure they have
$100
had no problem with it.
Well,
That's crazy.
Need to spend more of that money on security. They had a shooting there this past weekend.
Did they?
At the Lakewood Church, yeah.
Wow.
That's too bad.
That's a shame.
Anyway.
One other thing I have on the Super Bowl, while I'm watching the game, I see something up on the scoreboard. I thought, wow, that's fascinating. They have a Super Bowl 50-50 raffle going on at the stadium during the game.
Cool.
And the one figure that I saw, as I saw, it's like, wow, that's interesting. The number was $368,000. I go, holy shit! Somebody's gonna hit a big monster payout here today. I love those things.
Those are awesome.
Anytime I go to the Astros game, we buy the raffle, and it's usually $25,000 or whatever.
Do you do them at Spurs games?
No.
Okay, yeah. They started doing it at Spurs games.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that idea. All right, that's all I have on Super Bowl. I got 5 other notes.
A couple of things. I thought the first half by the San Francisco 49ers looked like they had taken Bill Walsh back from the grave and had him design their offensive play calling, and it fucking worked. That was so old school 49er West Coast offense. All of the stuff that they did with Juszczyk, out in the flats, all of the little miniature rollouts for Purdy were brilliant, and they worked. And you're right, Bob, they got him ahead of the chains a little bit. Second and short, third and short, and they were able to convert. And in the second half, the third quarter in particular, they started letting Purdy throw from the pocket deeper downfield, and it did not work. They lost who they were in that third quarter.
No, absolutely. And one of the troubling things is like this was another game where if you watch that first half and don't pay attention to the scoreboard, you go into halftime going, the Kansas City Chiefs are getting destroyed.
That's what it looked like. But it was only 10-3.
But it was only 10-3.
Yeah.
I mean, I was very concerned going into halftime because I'm like, okay, the Chiefs are going to get the ball in the start the second half. This is going to be bad. And then their first drive just was nothing. And then I was like, okay, we're good. We're good. Just continue what we're doing. And they didn't.
Yeah. I thought that they could have used Elijah Mitchell a lot more in that game. McCaffrey got banged up quite a bit. He looked good, don't get me wrong, but I think they could have spelled him a little bit more with Elijah Mitchell.
Nobody's pointed this out. I actually think a moment in the game that turned it around, or didn't turn it around, but was a moment, Greenlaw blowing his Achilles, running on the field.
God, y'all had bad injury luck last night.
That was awful.
Really bad injury luck. I mean, Kittle had to leave. Debo had to leave. I mean, they came back, but they did have to step out of the game. Another thing I thought about, I put Kyle Shanahan in a similar, he played a similar game, called a similar game to your kicker, Moody. Like, Shanahan had moments of offensive coordinator brilliance. The double pass was fantastic. It was perfectly timed. He made a lot of great decisions. Mm-hmm. The 4th and 1 late in the game that they went and got, he showed a lot of guts doing that. And he also kind of screwed up the third quarter. Well, your kicker, Moody, he's Moody. Okay. He is Moody. He had a Super Bowl record length kick in the first half
until the other kicker.
And then
I
said
to my wife, I said that record's going to stand for about 2 minutes.
You were right. You were right.
That's a no-brainer.
But then he absolutely shanked that PAT. Well, he actually snap hooked it, is what he did.
Kicked it too low.
Kicked it too low, and
special teams.
Yeah.
I mean, right. I mean, special teams.
So Moody had a moment of brilliance and a moment of utter incompetence. Kind of like Shanahan.
Though I will say this. I mean, I look at the play calling of Shanahan versus the play calling offensively for the Chiefs, and I didn't think the play calling for the Chiefs was all that inspired. I didn't think it. I mean, offensively, they got stuff done, and I don't know how. I don't know how, other than number 15.
Why don't you do yourself a favor, Bob? Go back and watch the game again.
And if I can watch the game, you know how we like to watch the game and remove all the commercials and all the downtime? I just want to watch the game and remove all the Taylor Swift.
It wasn't that bad, bro.
Yes, it was.
I think Mahomes, okay, I'm going to give you, he was great, or at least very, very good. But what's going to be lost is he threw a bad interception. And he was responsible for the fumble on the pitchback to Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah.
He nailed Pacheco in the back shoulder. It was a terrible toss from Mahomes. That's going on Pacheco.
Yeah, he did not play well in the first half. I agree.
All right. Go through whatever else you got. I think that's everything I wanted to mention.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes is now 3-1 in Super Bowls when he's down 10. Other quarterbacks combined, 4-48.
Just
That's fucking unbelievable.
It's remarkable. All right, a couple other things here besides football. The Lakers over the weekend unveiled the Kobe Bryant statue.
It doesn't look like Kobe Bryant very much. Why do statues never do that very well?
Have you
noticed that?
I didn't necessarily look at that, but it reminded me of the fact that the Spurs don't have a fucking statue. Not one statue for the Spurs outside their arena, which is an absolute disgrace. But the problem is not the Spurs. The problem is you, the fans. Because if you wanted one, the Spurs would build you one. But you don't give a crap.
Am I supposed to build it myself? What are you asking?
No, go to the Spurs and say we want a statue. I brought this up years ago with George Gervin, and George Gervin should have a finger roll statue out in front of the Frost Bank Center, and they've never built him one.
But Eastern Michigan has one.
Yeah, that was the last time I brought this up. Yep. And so it's on the fans. If the fans want one, go scream to the Spurs, hey, we want a statue of the Gervin. We want one of Tim Duncan. We want a David Robinson statue. They should all have one outside the arena, and they don't, and it's the Spurs fans' fault.
5 championships, no statues.
Crazy.
It does seem weird. I agree.
Spurs dealt away Doug McDermott, as we all expected, I think.
Yep.
For Marcus Morris, who they expect to waive cash, second-round pick, was no big deal.
Do you feel like it's at all ironic that Marcus Morris now winds up with the Spurs only to be cut after fucking the Spurs over a few off seasons ago?
If I were the Spurs, I would play Morris for like the entire game for like a week.
It's just to make us lose?
Wear him out. Just completely wear him out. That's what I would do if I were them.
It was an interesting trade deadline, man. There were some good moves. I thought the Mavericks improved themselves, getting rid of Grant Williams and adding P.J. Washington. I think that really helps the Mavericks. It looks like it has on the floor.
And I think the Knicks took a step closer to winning the Eastern Conference.
I think they did too. They helped themselves, man.
I would expect Boston and the Knicks to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. It should work out that way. We'll see how it goes. I like the Mike Zimmer hire for the Cowboys, even though Rex Ryan denies that that's happened. That I wanted them to go with Rex Ryan. I think that would have been a better choice. But I think Mike Zimmer brings some toughness to the Cowboys, which they completely lack toughness. They're a bunch of soft toilet paper people over there in Cowboy land.
Okay,
so I think this is good for them.
I like to hire for a different reason. I don't think it's going to work.
Okay, because you're a Niners fan.
I'm a Cowboys hater.
93% of fans on my Twitter feed said Jose Altuve is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Bad news. No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
He cheated. He will not be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I will be shocked if he gets in first ballot.
He didn't cheat. The organization cheated.
No, he cheated.
The organization cheated.
They were all part of it.
He didn't cheat. He just took advantage of what was offered to him.
Yeah, I think he's first ballot, Wally.
I don't
know
think
how
so.
You keep him out.
I think you keep him out because he cheated. He was part of the entire group that cheated, and not one of them, other than Carlos Beltran, has paid the price. Not one.
No, Altuve didn't cheat. Altuve didn't raise the alarm. It was the administration that set up that cheating system. It was a cheating system that he took advantage of. Altuve wasn't there to set it up. He just took advantage.
You're gonna tell me Altuve did not have that wire system in his jersey?
Of course he did. Of course he did.
Of course he did.
He absolutely did. But I do think, Walter, what plays in his favor is that he has been awesome post-cheating scandal too. So
is Barry Bonds.
If that had been the pinnacle of Altuve's career, if he had gone downhill afterwards, then I think you could have written it off as he was just good because they were cheating.
We'll see.
But he has been awesome since
no question.
Scandal too.
He's a Hall of Famer. He just won't be first ballot.
Okay.
They will keep him out.
Yes, he will. And
I will be shocked if they let him in.
Everybody loves short guys. He's only 5'6".
Yeah. Final point of the show for me is political, and it could go either side. I don't understand why these idiots in government put like 10 different things on a bill and expect everyone to agree to it. They can't agree on anything. Why can't they just put, this is the border bill, and it's got nothing else on it. There's no riders. There's no other thing, Constitution. There's nothing else on there other than we're closing the fucking border. And why? And they wouldn't agree to that?
Walter,
I don't understand.
They put 10 things on a bill because they don't want people to agree on it.
Well, then they're wasting our time and they're wasting their own time.
Yes, they are.
Close down the government. Let's
Yes,
get communism going.
Oh God.
Just kidding.
Just turn it over to the AI.
Just kidding.
Turn it over to the AI.
All right, I'm going to church. I got to go put $100,000 in the baskets today. I'm not going to church.
Thanks, like and subscribe. We'll see you next week.
Peace out.
Peace out.
How y'all feel out there? Do you feel good? I said, do you feel good? Come on. The groove feel good when it make you move. Make your next move your best move. I said the groove